Thursday. Welcome to another edition of the RAIDER ReACTION Morning Show. I am your host, the Commish, and right now, with the zombie apocalypse, all of the protesting, everything that's going on in the world, things are just kind of turned around upside down a little bit, and the team that we follow, the team that we support, the Silver and Black, has been one of the pioneers in professional sports since basically their inception. And I just wanted to take a step back and take a look at the team that we support and how they deal with equality and diverseness, and maybe we could take some of that mindset, and some of us could apply that to our daily lives. It's a very interesting piece about the team in which we love. Enjoy your Thursday.
The visionary efforts of Al Davis were not just in how the game was played, but also who would play it.
A lot of people think of Al Davis as a maverick. He's also been a maverick in opening opportunities for minorities.
I'd say a trailblazer for justice as far as I'm concerned, because he had no color bearer.
Coaches, players, over the years. I mean, this is not something new that he came to some political correctness in the late 90s.
I think Al Davis opened the game up. I think he opened the game up for the African-American athlete.
I think he's a pioneer, and as far as I'm concerned, in terms of getting black players to play and letting them be as best they can be.
It's been done because it was right and fair and would help us win, help us continue to win.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, Billy. Let's go, Howard. Go, Howie.
The Raiders did become a proving ground for great plays of minorities. I think it was just an evolution of equity and fairness, and we hope that that's one legacy we leave.
Al Davis's legacy of equity and fairness has spanned a lifetime, where he opened a field of dreams for countless others. It first surfaced when he was a football player at Syracuse a half a century ago. There, Davis showed his support for teammate Bernie Custis, a black quarterback in a white man's game.
As our relationship grew, I came to know Al as someone who lived by a certain code, and this code was to judge every individual by the content of their character and their capabilities and nothing else. And I think that's the code that I detected at that time, and that has stayed with him throughout the years.
Later, as an up-and-coming assistant coach, Davis's code was tested upon his arrival at the University of Southern California in 1957.
The situation at USC prior to that period was like the University of Mississippi. Blacks had as much of a chance of excelling in athletics as blacks did in Mississippi before the Civil Rights Movement. Al Davis went out and started recruiting blacks on a full scale. And when he went out and recruited Willie Wood as the first black quarterback in the history of Southern California, that was like changing the world.
I have to be honest with you, say there were quite a few people on the team who didn't like it. Well, quite a few people at the school, probably.
Willie was under a lot of pressure, but he had someone there like Al Davis who was supporting him every step of the way.
Because there were times when I felt that I was going to leave Southern Cal, because I just couldn't put up with this stuff, And after talking with him, I said, well, I'll hang in here for a little longer and see whether or not things will change.
Things did change. The team began to win again. Davis also helped break new ground when future Hall of Famers Wood and Ron Mix were named the Trojans' first interracial co-captains.
Al Davis called me into his office and said, Ron, I don't know if you appreciate what has happened, but it's really kind of very important. He says, I believe there's going to be some major social changes going on in this country, and in the way people view each other and get along. And I think one of the important factors that's going to be fostering better relations is athletics. And he was prophetic about that. And thinking back, he really did have a sense of history.
Pro football history also changed with the birth of the American Football League in 1960. As an assistant with the Chargers Hall of Famer Sid Gilman, Al Davis helped rework the social fabric of the game.
I think we were probably one of the first clubs to integrate our people. Our black players didn't stay with black players, they stayed with white players.
In 1961, we were in Houston, Texas, and we weren't allowed to stay at the Shamrock Hilton in those days because they still had the color line. And we were very upset about it, and we fought about it. And I think the American Football League and some of the clubs in the American Football League, some of the owners and some of the coaches deserve great credit for breaking what I call the color line throughout the country.
Working with Sid Gilman and the Chargers staff, Davis broke another color line by recruiting players from historically black colleges.
It was Sid Gilman, it was Al Davis, it was guys that founded the old AFL that said, hey, look, here's an opportunity to give these people a chance to play.
Then, when he took over the Raiders as head coach, Davis literally opened up a floodgate of talent from those schools.
They found a field of diamonds, as it's called, where there were just a ton of good ball players in the smaller black schools.
It was just a new day for the football players in the black colleges. They had a feeling of being wanted and a feeling of belonging to the American Football League.
Davis drafted players that would break the game wide open. Those players found a coach who created success by being open.
Al's word was important. If he told you something, it's that. This is it.
We wanted to win. We wanted the best players. We weren't interested in who they were or exactly where they came from. We were interested, could they play great? Could they be part of an organization? Could they give the same loyalty, tradition that was necessary?
It's hard to think that Al was doing it primarily to give black guys, an opportunity. I feel like that he was looking to give a guy an opportunity whether he was black or white.
Respect for players of all backgrounds opened up opportunities at all positions. In 1968, Al Davis used the Raiders' #1 pick to draft quarterback Eldridge Dickey from Tennessee State, a historically black school.
Looking back now, gosh, that was a huge step for Al Davis. And there was so much against him for that, They had tapped and got tackles and receivers, but here you're talking about a position where it has been orientated that this, quote, black man cannot lead. I could see what he was seeing. I could see him seeing beyond complexion. Al was saying, let it go. You're stifling the growth of a game.
Another myth that Davis and the Raiders exploded was that blacks couldn't succeed as offensive linemen. Both tackle Art Shell and guard Gene Upshaw played their way into the Hall of Fame.
We used to say, well, we can have a convention of the black offensive linemen in a phone booth. There just wasn't that many of us doing it. And we had an opportunity to play, and when we did, we played well. You never once felt on the Raider football team that there was a racial issue involved in any extent. Al Davis would not tolerate it.
Al doesn't see color. What Al sees is a team. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not black, Hispanic, or Jewish. It didn't make a bit of difference. When I showed up with the Raiders, what he saw was a guy who could play the middle. So you became his player.
For 25 years, Davis relied on the trusted excellence of Ron Wolf to help assure opportunities for players to succeed in the organization.
It's about being an Oakland Raider, and that was far more important than any of that other stuff. And he did a great job in that sense, in that vein, in making everyone proud to wear the silver and black.
Ultimately, the legendary level of greatness of the Raider organization started with a simple approach to dealing with people.
Al has always said the golden rule is not good enough. That is, don't treat people the way you would like to be treated if you were them. Treat people the way they want to be treated.
You knew we would still have a D-bag of the day, right? Oh, of course.
You, sir, are a fucking douchebag.
Hey, what's going on out there, y'all? This is your boy Big L, coming at you. Good morning. I hope your day is going good so far, and I hope it continues to go well. I'm here with your D-bag. Your D-bag of the day today, I mean, some of y'all gonna agree, some of y'all gonna disagree. I'm gonna say Drew Brees. Dude, stand down. I mean, if you agree, you agree. If you don't, you don't. There was a time and point where you kneeled with your teammates. So, you know, or at least you should know, that this has nothing to do with the flag. It has to do with, you know, the continued oppression and disrespect, abuse, and neglect of something that has nothing to do with the flag. So why would you continue the asinine, ignorant stance of thinking and promoting that it's about the flag? You are a douchebag for continuing an ignorant, very ignorant stance on this whole situation. Because if you still think it's about the flag, take a look around you. Y'all have a good day.
It's time to open up the mind of Raider Chris.
What's cracking, people? Man, I am super jacked. Just found out the NBA is coming back next month. Super fucking hyped. The Lakers are on their quest for number 17. Smack the fucking Flippers out of the way. Take out the Bucks. Crown our champion. Tie up the Boston Celtics. We're all good. But other than that, man, it's just good to have something back. You know, UFC is back. NASCAR's back. Golf's coming around. Dude, shit's happening, man. Shit is happening. So, hopefully everybody's staying safe. Love one another. Hey.
And now, to send you out on your Thursday, your Raider quote of the day. Equality is the soul of liberty. There is, in fact, no liberty without it. Words of Francis Wright. Be good to each other today, man. Go out there, be good to your fellow man. We're all in this game together. We're all just pawns in this game together. Be good to your fellow man today. Have a kick-ass Thursday, Raider Nation. I will see you soon. Until then, I'm out. Peace, love, Raider Nation.